Now, are you getting royalties from the Twilight franchise? Because you guys are like the first, really, you're going to put vampires back on the map with Gangrel and his teeth and everything.
You know what? I haven't, but I should check into that.
That might be a way to earn some cash when you retire. I guess you moved on in the career, of course, left the Brood and that moved on, and you and Edge went on and really set the stage for some of the most amazing matches that anyone's ever seen. The tables, ladders, and chairs matches. Yeah. People come up to you all the time and say, "Oh, wrestling, it's bogus, It's fake." It's not fake to jump off a ladder that's 10, 15 feet up in the air to land on one.
Well, I just also
how intense.
Well, I just also had a high ankle sprain with a couple of torn ligaments and was in a walking boot for 10 weeks and just missed 5 months of action. So that's not fake. And the year before that, I tore my pec and had it completely reattached. So I had my arm in a sling for 6 weeks. So that wasn't. But
there's no tricks to this.
No, there's no tricks to it. And it's the cool thing is sometimes when you meet other athletes, they come up and they tell you that they respect what you do because they know how physical it is. And to hear that from other athletes, that's pretty cool.
Now, those tables, ladders, and chairs matches, what's your best memory of those? Do you have good memories of the TLC matches?
Yeah, for sure. I guess the biggest memory I have is before the first ladder match where it was just Edge and Christian against the Hardys. And it was at the time when we went down through the crowd on our entrance. And I remember we went up to the second level in the match before us to get ready to go down. And they kind of put us in this this little room behind the concession stand up in the second level or something like that. And I just remember thinking, man, I was so nervous. This match had never been done, a tag team ladder match. And, this was kind of our chance to step up. And it was I remember just sitting there, just kind of pacing. And I pace when I'm thinking or nervous or whatever. So I just remember pacing in this little room and there was no, it was just so stuffy and just the room is smaller than this, that where we're standing right now. And then, the music hit and went out and it just all went away and we just did our thing, That's just, I just remember pacing in that room and thinking, God, we got to nail this one tonight.
Wow. And you've been one of those guys throughout his career it's really been able to grow and build upon different things. And one of the things you guys built upon, both you and Edge, was the charisma. Play in the crowd, play in the audience, building things up, just being incredibly personable and just being fun. Almost really brought fun back into that side.
Yeah, I guess we kind of looked at it as, we got fortunate also that we were teamed together after the Brood. And what we'd started doing was just stuff that we did with our friends when we weren't, when we were away from the arena, just stuff that we would do in a rental car when we were driving, just stuff that made us laugh. And we were like, this is so ridiculous. And then we just started doing it and hey, maybe if we think it's entertaining and funny, maybe people watching will. So we just started doing the stuff we were doing, away from the camera, in front of the camera. And it just kind of stuck. And we had each other to bounce it off of, which made it, easier. And also we were gaining experience because neither one of us really had a lot of experience talking in front of large crowds or doing things in front of cameras and stuff like that. So we were also, kind of making each other more comfortable because we could play off each other and that made it easier. And you're gaining experience and gaining confidence. And then, you can build on that. And, ultimately we are where we are today,
Whose idea was the 5-second pose?
That was kind of like a collaboration and we just were kind of throwing things around. And I think I might have said the 5-second pose, and Edge might have said, "Yeah, for the benefit of those with flash photography." I think that might have been how it went. But we collaborated on it. We were throwing it around, and it was kind of something we came up with.
Is that what you get most often? What do you get most often? Hulk Hogan gets, "Hey brother," What do you get most often?
You'd be surprised that I still get that, and even lately, like autograph signings and things. I've had young kids come up and tell me that they enjoyed the matches with the Hardy Boys. I'm like, were you even born yet? And they were like, no, but my dad shows me, or my parents show me have showed me the tapes or the footage or whatever. And so they've seen that stuff. And that's pretty crazy to think that people are showing that it kind of stands the test of time, that people are taking time to show their kids those things, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. How has the industry changed throughout the 15 years that you've been in and a little longer as you got back into your earlier career? How have you seen the business change?
Yeah, obviously, when I first, kind of made it onto to WWE and on the national television and things like that, it was, the Attitude Era. And then obviously I think the biggest change would be now we're kind of more PG, more family friendly. We want it to be a show where you can bring the entire family, make it cost effective. We have tickets as low as $15. So it's a place where you can actually take the entire family and everybody can be entertained and have a good time and enjoy themselves for the night.
I guess one of the things too that we've seen is the advent of social media,
right?
And with the Twitter and Facebook, and now your ring entrance is marked by your Twitter feed,
right?
Christian for Peeps.
I mean, it's like anything, you just kind of roll with the times, right? You just like you just said, that kind of like Facebook stuff and all those sorts of things, which the things we didn't think about back then, as you play the music, you get your video screen, and maybe if you're lucky you get some pyro and you go out, but now it's just like, it's evolving. There's all these other things, and it's just a different way to reach out and connect with audiences and connect with people and let them know what you're up to. It makes them feel, I think, a little bit closer to you too, and that they can actually interact with you.
Yeah, is that something you enjoy? Is it hard to keep up with that aspect of it? I mean, you guys are on the road and you're constantly busy, so is it hard to sit and take some time to sometimes it is. I mean, especially when you get home and you're only home for a short amount of time. Sometimes it's hard to do that. You're trying to get things done and and spend time with people at home and things like that, and do all the things you have to do. But actually, it's probably easier if you're sitting in the airport waiting for a flight to get on your phone and check Twitter and send a couple messages or do whatever. That's probably the easiest time to do it. Nice way to kill some time. All right, a couple of things before we'll hit on what's happening tonight at the Ford Center, of course. I want a couple of rapid fire questions just out of curiosity. Your best match ever?
My best match ever.
What would you consider it be?
Well, I know the biggest match of my career was when I won the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time against Alberto Del Rio, so I'd have to say that. And it was in, it couldn't be in my hometown of Toronto, so it was in my adopted hometown of Tampa, where I've lived for 12 years, and that was pretty special to have it there in front of family and friends. And it was a big night, a moment I'll never forget. It was like, I still haven't watched the match back. Right. Because I just don't. I mean, I know how the match felt. I know how it felt when I grabbed the title and the crowd reacted. I don't want it to be any different than how it felt and how I remember it. So I haven't even watched the match back.
That's pretty cool. Best thing about being a WWE superstar?
Getting to perform in front of a live audience every night. That's what it's all about. No matter how grueling the travel is, how tired you are when you get somewhere, whether we're overseas and there's time differences, whatever, if you're jet lagged, once your music hits and you walk through that curtain and you hear it and you get the energy from that live audience, there's nothing like it in the world.
All right, I touched on this a little bit earlier that wrestling seems to be such a serious thing, at least when it's put out there on the stage. Who's the funniest guy in the locker room?
The funniest guy, other than me?
Well, of course. You're going to blow me away with like Mark Henry or something like that.
Santino's a pretty funny guy. I would say Zack Ryder's he's not really funny. He's just weird, and that makes you laugh. So, yeah, probably Santino's a pretty funny guy. I'd say he's probably the funniest.
All right. We know you're Canadian, of course, from Toronto. Maple Leafs, Blue Jays, or Argonauts?
Maple Leafs.
Hockey guy, of course.
Well, the thing is, I've kind of adopted the Rays as my team, Tampa Rays. Yeah. But although I was a big Blue Jay fan in the heyday when they won the titles and that sort of thing, I don't really watch much CFL. But I've been a diehard Leaf fan since I was a kid. It's so painful year after year. I'm like, this is the year. This is the year. We can't even make the playoffs, man. It's crazy. But hopefully this year we'll have a better year.
Very cool. And I'm going to pull you one stereotypical Canadian question just because that's what I tend to do for some reason. Yeah, really. Best Canadian export. The band Rush or Pamela Anderson?
I'm not a huge Rush fan, actually. Don't tell anybody in Canada I'm not. So I'm going to have to say Pamela Anderson.
Are you, and again, being stereotypical, and I'm not, please don't beat me up after this interview. Are you like, when you're born in Canada, they hand you like the Rush album, the Rush, greatest hits album, and say, okay, here it is. This is what you get.
Yeah, that or Anne Murray.
Oh, I hope you get a choice, really. I hope so. All right, tonight at the Ford Center, of course, big Smackdown event going on. How are you going to play into it tonight at the Ford Center?
I don't even know. We'll see when we get there. I could defend the Intercontinental Championship. We also have the Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up in a few weeks. So it all goes down tonight, man. We're looking forward to getting there and having Smackdown at this brand new Ford Center. Everyone's going to be there. Sheamus will be there. Alberto Del Rio, myself, Cody Rhodes, John Cena is going to make an appearance, and so is Triple H. So it's going to be a big night. All
right, John Laurinaitis is going to be there.
Yeah, I think by the board of directors have told him that he has to honor all of his commitments. So.
Very nice. Your best John Laurinaitis impression.
Well, he's not
everybody.
Power now.
Everybody.
Yeah, make sure you come down to the Ford Center.
All right, WWE Superstar Christian, thanks for taking some time out, man. Thanks for visiting Evansville, and thanks for just having a great sense of humor today.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right.